All right, hello everyone. It was nice hearing what you were up to this weekend from a few of you. And yeah, today is Sunday, July 5th. It's Independence Day weekend. So I hope you guys all got to enjoy a fun weekend with friends and family, maybe a few fireworks. Today we want to jump right into stress and sleep and emotions. There's a lot of information that's going to come at you today, just as like every week. So we want to get going. Have your pen and paper handy if you'd like. We'll also direct you a couple times to take some screenshots. And yeah, some of this will feel familiar, I think, and some of it will be new. So let's just go ahead and jump right in. I'm going to begin the screen sharing. I'll introduce myself real quick, then I'll let Christy introduce herself. My name's Emily. For those of you that I haven't met yet, I'm up here in Portland, Oregon. We were all just talking about the weather. It finally feels like summer maybe here today. It's high 70s and kind of sunny, kind of cloudy. I'm ready for the sun and the warmth. It sounds like you guys have a lot of it where you are. I've been teaching about essential oils for coming up on 6 years. I'm a certified holistic health coach through IIN, Institute for Integrative Nutrition. It's a mouthful. And I love wellness. I love working with people in all capacities, but specifically women in the areas of toxin-free living, balancing hormones, balancing mood, sleep, self-care, taking time for themselves, reducing stress, working in self-worth. So this is a fun and juicy topic for me. So I hope that you are happy that you're here tonight. And then I'll go ahead and let Christy introduce yourself while I start the screen share.
Hey guys, happy 4th of July. My name's Christy and I'm coming from Boise, Idaho. And I have to say, I'm like in a really great place right now because I had a friend from Portland and her family surprise visit us today. So it was just really, really wonderful just to have like a slice of normalcy today. I am a trained social worker. And so for me, our mental health is a really, really important topic that I hold dearly. And I hope that through everything that's happening in the world right now, that today we can offer you some great tips and tricks to help support your wellness in this area. And this is also really a great time to pay attention and think about the people you love, your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers who might also be looking for a little bit of support in this area. So just keep that tucked into the back of your mind. And I do have to say, as always, if you are currently experiencing an overwhelming amount of sadness and you feel like you may be struggling with something like depression, the tools we're offering today are not a solution to those severe cases. I really encourage you to reach out to ask for help. Go to the people you love and tell them, I'm in a really bad place, or I'm not sure what's happening and I really need some help. So this is not the things we talk about today. This is not a cure, but it is a tool that we can use in our daily lives to help us find some peace and relaxation. But like always, please seek medical help if you feel like this isn't enough. So I just want to, as a social worker, I just have to throw that out there as something to keep in mind as well. So welcome to class. And I don't know, Emily, if you want to, do you want to start or would you like me to start?
Go for it, Christy. I'm just making sure the tech is all set to go. So go for it.
Okay, so most of you have already had a class with us before. So just remember that we do have that fantastic chat option. So if you have a question as we go through class, Emily and I will work together to answer those questions. If we do not answer a question and you still have it at the end of the class, there will be an opportunity for you to unmute yourself and verbally ask us a question. We want to make sure we get all of those answered. In addition, I will be in the chat, I will post the link for attendance. And as most of you recall, once you've attended all 8 classes, we're going to gift you with some great oily gifts, a diffuser, and also an additional oil to add to your collection. What else? Am I missing anything? I feel like I haven't been here for a few weeks. So is that it, Emily? Is there anything else?
I think that's it. And
okay.
Oh, can you hear me? Sorry. Yeah, no, I think that was it. So thank you so much for mentioning that, and also for your experience as a social worker. I think that I know that that is one of the reasons why these oils and these tools are so near and dear to your heart, is because you do have such close proximity working with clients and patients and people of all ages. And you're right, what we need are tools. I'm a big believer in having tools at our easy, hands reach, quick disposal, because the science does show that we don't have to always rely on over-the-counter meds and pharmaceuticals, not ever villainizing them or stating that you shouldn't when you need them. You should. I'm a big believer in shoulding if you need those tools. But if you are able to use natural options to keep some of those needs at bay, you're gonna feel so much better in your body, in your mind. You'll have more vibrancy. It'll just be an easier walk in life if you can avoid some of that. So we really want to dig in here today. Yeah, so okay, let's get moving. So on a scale of 1 to 10, and you guys might remember we open these classes with questions often. We want you to really think about yourself, because we are also bio-individually unique. So my needs are different than Christy's. Christy's needs are different from Laura's. Laura's needs are different from Renee's, and so on. And so what really speaks to me at any given moment is going to be really different than what speaks to you. So while I can broadcast and blanket suggestions for everybody, the truth is that you're going to find that things work differently for you than they do for someone else. So it's key, part and parcel to this whole conversation of natural solutions, is tuning into your own needs and your own body and your own symptoms and cases and all of that. So how often are you aware of being stressed in your daily life? Is this something that you're kind of keeping an eye on, keeping track of? Tracking is actually a huge piece to natural medicine, believe it or not. And being able to track triggers and dips and flows is actually a key piece to getting things under control as well. So if you are rating stress in your life regularly as a 10, that's a big problem. That you need to have awareness around that. If you're rating it as a 0, well, good job. I doubt any of us on here are rating our stress levels, especially right now, at a 0. So, but we want to stay in more of the mid-range where it's manageable for us. So also, how concerned are you about the quantity and quality of your sleep? We're going to dig into sleep, because I, as a health coach, have noticed, even in my own life, sleep is like key. And I really believe that almost everything comes from getting enough sleep or lack of sleep. Behavior changes, weight gain, weight loss, stress, disease, everything is honestly tied back to sleep. So we want to focus on getting good rest. And then, how frequently do your emotions feel difficult to manage appropriately? Do you ever feel like you're spinning out of control? That is a common feeling for sure. And if you do feel like that, there's no shame in it. There's no shame in any of this. But we want to kind of work together to bring yourself back to a state of more balance, where your body actually does truly want to exist. So, so take a second to just kind of think of this, rating yourself in these areas. How often are you feeling stressed in your daily life? How concerned are you about the quality and the quantity of your sleep? And I'm gonna mute that lovely person who hopped on. And how frequently do your emotions feel difficult to manage appropriately?
Okay, so hopefully everybody has their numbers. Next, we're going to talk about this Doterra mood matrix. And you guys, these tools are fantastic, because it really takes out the confusion that sometimes comes with which oil do I use for what, especially when we're talking about our emotions. And as you'll see, let's just start in the upper left-hand corner, which is labeled number 1, and it has the Serenity Oil. And this is the portion of the mood matrix that focuses on when we have a lack of peace in our life, and we're also feeling a fair amount of fatigue, right? So we're tired, there's just little to no peace. And typically when we are in this area, we are definitely looking to feel more, more calm, right? We want to we want to have our energy back, and we want to have a sense of peace within us. And then if we move over to the right, number 2 of the mood matrix, this is a combination of feeling fatigue, so feeling extremely tired, but also having little to no passion, right? So maybe the things that we once really loved, like spending time with our grandchildren, or enjoying going to work, or even like simple acts like cooking, some of these things may be gone because we're not interested anymore. And then we're also feeling just tired. And in this area, we're typically looking, we want to be invigorated, right? We want to feel that passion again, and we want to have that energy to go with it. And then if you look to the bottom right, number 4, I know I'm not going completely in order, but number 4, this is a combination, once again, of having little to no passion, but also having really, we're in a really, really high stress mode. So cortisol levels are high, and we have disinterest. And here we want to feel inspired. And then if we head over to the bottom left, number 3, where the balance oil is, this is a combination of having high stress and no peace, which I feel really go hand in hand. It's hard not to feel these, right? So when we're really, really stressed, we might be stressed about a particular situation. And with that, how can we find peace in our hearts or in our daily routine, right? If we're feeling really stressed. And you guys, I can't help but feel like this may be, you know, one of the categories that a lot of us are feeling right now, just with the state of the world, right? There's a lot of uncertainty. We're stressed because it's like, do we wear a mask or don't we wear a mask? Did the kids wash their hands or didn't they wash their hands? There's a lot going on. And so this matrix, you can screenshot this. I can also see if I can snapshot an image of it and add it to the chat. I don't know if it's available. I'm sure it's available on the Doterra website. I can see what I can find on that to share with you. But this is something you could print out. You could put up on your fridge. You could put it by your oils. Just have it on hand, right? So you can refer to it and identify how you're feeling and the specific oil that can be a tool to help you through that. Okay, so we're going to go through each oil pretty quickly here. So in the upper left, we talked about Serenity, and this is an oil that helps you feel calm. It helps you gather your composure, and it's also placating. And so this oil is really great to bring peace back into your day and also give you a little bit of energy. And what's interesting about Serenity is that you will hear us talk about this a little bit later, that it's about sleep, but it is also really, really great during the day. If you are having a moment of, you're not calm, maybe you're angry, you're frustrated, Serenity is a great oil to bring out and support you during that time as well. So it's not only a sleep oil, but it's also a great oil to use during the day. Let's see here. The next oil is Citrus Bliss, and that's number 2. How many, do you guys love Citrus Bliss? I feel like sometimes it's an oil I forget about it. I need to put it out on my counter, but it smells amazing, and it is part of the citrus family. So extremely energizing and uplifting. It's an oil that gives you a kick in the butt. So if you're feeling fatigued or you're not feeling passionate, I think it might be smart to bring out Citrus Bliss and add it to your diffuser, or add a little bit onto your wrists. Sometimes rub it over your heart, just kind of to get things moving again. So citrus bliss is invigorating, stimulating, and motivating. And Emily, feel free to interrupt if there's something else that you would like to share about any of these oils. And then lastly, I just want to talk about elevation and balance. So elevation is also part of the citrus family. People call it sunshine in a bottle, which I think is appropriate. It has a Melissa in it. So I don't know if any of you have Melissa, but Melissa is an expensive oil. So elevation is a really great way to get Melissa into your routine. Melissa helps our brain feel happy. Okay, so if you're really feeling like you're down in the trenches, Melissa, along with the other oils in the elevation blend, really help your brain feel happy, and it gets you moving towards passion, less stress, and the things I mentioned, so inspiring, encouraging, and cheerful oil. And then the last oil is Balance, which is, it's one of my favorites. It's one of my husband's favorites. My kids love it. We buy the deodorant with Balance just because it is so grounding, it's reassuring, it's consoling. Great for when you're, great when you're feeling high levels of stress. Balance is just one of those go-to oils that a lot of people like to put on in the morning when their day starts, just to get their day going in that grounding direction. And I would say, for me, I do a lot of meditation in the morning and in the evening, and I love incorporating any and all of these oils into that routine, depending on how I'm feeling and what kind of support I need for the day. And any of these oils, you guys, you can add to your diffuser. So if you don't love an oil on your body, add it to your diffuser. You can add it to your wrist. Some people love adding it above their heart when they set their intentions for the day, the bottom of the feet. All of these oils are fantastic tools when used in those ways.
Awesome. I would like to add that I've got Citrus Bliss diffusing my office right now, and it smells so good. And just so you guys know about Citrus Bliss, it's going to smell like a creamsicle to you. It's like orange and vanilla. And by the way, on the bottle, it does not have the supplements facts label on it, right? Like the ones that we can take internally. But it is really yummy in water. It'll taste like kind of a creamsicle in your water. And the vanilla in it is vanilla absolute, which is why they don't add it on as the supplements facts. Like they don't say that it's specifically recommended for internal use, but it is grass. It's generally regarded as safe, which is what all of our food is in the United States, and that's why it can actually be used internally. So that's super tasty. Also, one of my favorite combinations of these two oils always is Balance and Serenity together. They're so famous as a pair that they're actually called liquid Xanax together. So they're just so beautiful and calming together. If you really need like to calm down and bring down, your liquid Xanax is going to be Serenity and Balance. And then a common combination again is Balance and Citrus Bliss. So you've got the grounding, but also the invigorating. People like to call that one monster juice. So if you've got bad attitude in your house, combination of Balance and Citrus Bliss. And then the last ad, because I've done a lot of, playing with these a little bit, is Elevation. And if you like mint, probably one of my all-time favorite combos together is actually Elevation with a little bit of peppermint added in as a diffuser blend. I love that. I actually just ordered more Elevation because I ran out. So love that very much. Okay, great. Christy, that was super helpful. So this is our adaptive collection. Now I know you guys are all really big fans of this. It's definitely been one of the most popular releases in a long time for Doterra. We all love this, right? Adaptive collection has been a game changer for a lot of people that are dealing with stress and emotions and just trying to get a hold on everything in their bodies, especially if you're someone that struggles with anxiety and depression. So if you struggle with things like OCD, my daughter was just teasing me about that last night because I wanted to shift an outdoor projector screen we have. I'm like, no, that's not just right. She's like, oh, you have OCD, right? So, so if you struggle with OCD and PTSD as well, these sorts of emotional kind of upheavals in your life, then adaptive is going to be really helpful for you. So now you can purchase this whole set together as a system. It does come together, but you can also buy them individually. And we're going to go through each one individually and tell you why, and kind of break down the differences between them. Oops, sorry, went a little bit too
okay.
There we go.
Okay, and I do want to say one thing before we're going to dive deeper into these, like Emily said, but I want to say this one thing about adaptive. So I just have like a really firm belief that if you're in a position where you've been dealing with depression or anxiety, or you know somebody that has been struggling, it is so worth it to give these a shot, because the number of testimonials that I have heard and the stories people have shared are really, really remarkable. And it's one thing for me to sit here and say to you, just try them. They're amazing. They're wonderful. But the desperation that sometimes people feel is so great, you guys, that they want to just try something. So even if you're ordering these for yourself and you know somebody, send them 3 or 4 capsules, send them a little sample of the oil, at least give them the opportunity to try these, because if they do work for them, like, wow, it's a life changer. And if they don't work, that's okay. They're right back where they were, but at least consider giving them the option, right, of trying something. So I just want to say that that's like my little pedestal speech this evening. So just keep that in mind. Of course, I wish I had 1 million samples. I could send them to everybody in the world, but you know, so please share if you can. So we're going to talk first about the capsules, and I hate to say it, but I do not have a jar of them. Do you, Emily? Because see, perfect. Because my adaptive capsules are in here. I don't have the actual bottle. I recycled the bottle, but this is the adaptive capsule, and this comes in that 3-part grouping that Emily just showed you. So there's the capsules, there's a roller, and then there's the actual oil, which Emily's going to talk about in a minute. And just for those of you that love to use the veggie capsules and make your own capsules, you are not going to want to take the adaptive oil and put them into a veggie capsule, because this particular blend is not meant to be taken internally. So if you want to be taking adaptive internally, you're going to want to make sure you order these capsules instead. So the adaptive calming blend capsules, it works to promote positive feelings. It's going to help boost your mood. It's going to help you feel a lot more confident where you're at with your state of mind. So definitely we're talking about brain health here. And it also is really great for relaxing. So for whatever reason, over the last month or so, which I'm saying for whatever reason, but we clearly know that with the state of the world and the level of stress we're feeling, I've been waking up with like a really nervous stomach for no reason that I personally can identify. And so I've been using these adaptive capsules in this exact same way. So I've been using them for my mental well-being, for helping myself feel happier, less nervous, less anxious. So been supporting my cognitive function and also my emotional balance. And actually, Emily, will you talk about GABA? Because I feel like you might actually be able to speak more authentically to what this means and how it helps.
Yeah, well, GABA has been added to adaptive. GABA is actually a neurotransmitter. It's like a hormone in our body, and its function in our body is that it kind of calms down and tampers down. So you've heard of neuroexcitability. That's when your brain, has some sort of a trigger or some sort of outside environmental action that causes your brain to just like, right? And that's what we call anxiety or a panic attack maybe. And GABA, the function of GABA in our bodies is to help mitigate that neuroexcitability, right? To stop it from like freaking out, so to speak. It's meant to keep it calm. So the addition of GABA in this capsule is what makes it really unique and really special, because it's going to help your brain stay at a more even keel, even when there are big stressors coming at you. That's the whole intention of it. Does that make sense? Does that help?
Yeah, totally. Thank you. I was like, I just felt like it'd be more authentic coming from you. Because to be honest, I mean, it's so funny. Emily and I have been doing this for a really long time, but there's still a lot of things we don't know, and that's okay. So thank you, Emily, for stepping in there.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's an amazing, Doterra is consistently really, really thoughtful in what they put together. They're not a company that just like follows the trend. Like, you haven't seen them picking up CBD, for example, because they believe, their belief, whether it's true or not, or you may agree or disagree. I know a lot of people disagree with it, to be honest, but their belief is that this is a trend and that there are other more natural sources of, things that work like CBD, like Copaiba. Also adaptive could be put in there as well. So they're very thoughtful and thorough in their research, in their clinical trials that they're running, and how they're designing all these products. This is a really cool one. So yeah.
Yeah, and I was going to say, if anybody really wants to tap into some testimonials, let us know, because we can hook you up with a great testimonial page as well, where you can read other people's stories that can be helpful. And then the really nice thing about adaptive is you can take it in the morning, you can take it at night. You just kind of have to read your own body and go with it. And, for me personally, when I was having some really, really bad days, I was taking one in the morning and the evening. And then I started to shift into a better place. And now I'm just back to one. So just like we use our oils, right? We just have to kind of listen to our bodies and determine for ourselves when and how we need to support ourselves best. And that's the way you can use your adaptive capsules as well.
Yeah, 100%. That's a great testimonial right there, Christy. So thanks. I'm glad you shared that. Okay. Well, this is the adaptive blend. This is the calming oil blend. So this works together with the supplement, but they're two different products. So this is a blend of essential oils, and it's going to help boost your mood. So this is unlike the GABA and the internal use. This is actually going to work in your olfactory system and your limbic system. And I know we've kind of joked before, if you put your two fingers right over the bridge of your nose, right behind it in your brain is your olfactory system. And about 2 inches up, or, 1.5 inches, 2 inches up, is your limbic brain. And so these two are really connected, and they're kind of like two peas in a pod in terms of the way they work together. So this is really going to help. The intention is that it's going to help boost your mood, right? And it is going to help you have a good transition in any stressful moments and situations that you're dealing with. So it's supposed to bring tranquility. It reduces feelings of anxiousness and tension. You can apply this one topically, because so many of us feel so empowered when we're able to take an oil and, apply it, right? Because that is like one piece to this whole thing of intention, being conscious about how you're feeling, about the moment that you're in, being really mindful of the actions you're taking, not just ignoring those feelings and all of those emotions, but recognizing them, owning them, learning to really manage them, right? That's what I'm trying to teach my kids. Okay, so if you are having a hard time dealing with your emotions, I want to encourage you to try this adaptive balance. For example, if balance we talked about before, or elevation or citrus bliss, maybe they haven't been the thing that really sings to you. And we're all going to be different. Like, balance for me is my fave, like 100 times favorite. But that's not going to be someone else's. So this is what we want to give a try. You can also pair adaptive with citrus bliss. By the way, that's a really popular combination, those two right there. And then you can put it in I love to put oils in the palm of my hand, rub my hands together, close my eyes, just inhale really deeply, and then I'll take the residue and I'll rub it over my heart. I really always encourage just like giving a little love to your heart. Sometimes if I have a roller blend at hand handy, I'll actually draw a little heart over my heart, and then I'll just kind of color it in. And it might sound kind of weird and kind of woo, but it's not. It's actually the mindful, intentional act that is what we're after here. So it's just the conscious behavior, the turn from like reactionary to like soothing and loving and nourishing and taking care of. And that's really why these oils are so powerful, in my opinion. Yeah, so we've got the blend. You can add it to your diffuser. We've got the touch roller if you're someone that likes to put it in your purse. If you've got some road rage issues, or, you know, somebody, I don't know, who knows, walks in front of your car and surprises you, you grab your adaptive for sure.
Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about diffusing, and it is definitely one of my favorite things. You may see me posting in my Facebook stories or Instagram stories about diffusing, and I love mixing and matching, and we have diffusers in all of our rooms, and like Emily mentioned, I have a diffuser in the car. I have a little handheld diffuser in my purse, diffuser in the laundry room. And actually, sometimes I diffuse outside, right, if I'm trying to get rid of mosquitoes. So diffusers everywhere. And I love diffusing because it is the fastest way to get essential oils into your body. So the minute you breathe it in, it hits the bloodstream, and you are on your way of supporting your in this case, right, mental health. And I also love diffusing because I can secretly diffuse and my family is reaping all the benefits. And sometimes they're not even quite sure that I'm trying to calm them down or help them sleep. So diffusing is just a really fantastic way to support everyone in your home. Okay, so if you really want to be successful with using your oils in your home, you need to get into the habit of doing it. So a lot of times people will receive their oils and I will call them and ask them how it's going, and they have not touched them yet, and that's okay. So I typically encourage people right away to start diffusing. And sometimes the question is, well, can I diffuse this with this? And you know, how many oils can I diffuse at a time? And the beautiful news is that you can diffuse all kinds of oils together. And sometimes you'll find something you really love, and sometimes you'll find things you don't love so much. But you guys, diffusing is really, really safe and a great way to get your oils out. And with that said, you want to make sure you keep, sorry, siren heading by. You want to make sure that your oils are in a place where you can grab them easily. You can take a screenshot of this slide we have up now with some different diffuser blends. I think Emily's a little bit better at maybe pulling oils out of her case and pairing them. I'm not so great at that, so I have a little diffuser book that I'll pull out once in a while when I'm feeling like I need something new, or I want to support our immune system or purify the kitchen. I tend to look at already put together diffuser blends, but totally up to you. Let's see here. And in the case of us talking about the emotional oils today, we've put together a few diffuser blend recipes that include the adaptive and the balance, let's see here, what else did we include? The citrus bliss, the elevation. And so these oils are all really, really great for supporting our emotions. And so next time you're, you look at your mood matrix and maybe it's saying, I'm super stressed or I'm not feeling very passionate, then pull out one of these diffuser blends, maybe do the citrus bliss with the elevation and the grapefruit and the sandalwood. Yeah, all these blends look really great. I love Diffusing Adaptive, and Wild Orange is very uplifting, just like the Citrus Bliss and the Elevation. I also love Peace. Peace is a fantastic oil. For whatever reason, it's something that my kids, for whatever reason, their bodies respond really quickly to Peace in moments of anxiety or frustration. And Peace was also another oil that I really depended on a lot while using my Adaptive. So that's another great oil if you guys haven't tried that before. What else? Am I missing anything else? I don't think so.
No, but you guys take a screenshot of this.
Yeah.
These are good blends. Especially the one on the right, the Citrus Bliss, Sandalwood, Grapefruit, and Elevation. I'm like, yeah, that's amazing. I love that. I love anything with sandalwood.
And I was going to say too, don't let, like, if we have like 3 drops of Adaptive and 3 Wild Orange, like, it's okay if an extra drop falls in. Like I said, these are kind of foolproof, and you'll learn over time what you really love and what you don't love. But remember, these oils are really pure, they're really potent, they're strong. So you don't need to put 20 drops in. I would start with a little bit and add a little bit more along the way if you want it to be stronger.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about sleep. Oh my gosh. Maybe put in the chat. Do you feel like you get enough sleep? Yes or no? I'd love to see. I think a lot of us these days are not getting enough sleep. And so I told you before, I'm just a huge firm believer in getting enough sleep. And I'll be honest, I think that because I love to focus on self-care and self-worth specifically for women, I believe that lack of sleep is actually tied to, believe it or not, lack of self-worth. It's all connected. It ripples, and I think it's actually impossible to separate it. So I'll give you an example. Is when I'm not getting enough sleep, and it happened this week actually. I had 3 nights in a row where I was getting to sleep about midnight and waking up around like 7 or maybe before. That's not enough sleep for me. And what that ends up doing for me, I just wonder if you can identify with this, and let me know in the chat if you do. It ends up, I'm too tired to work out, to move my body, to go out for a walk or a run or bike ride or anything. Then because of that, I tend to snack more. I feel like, oh, well, if I'm not working out or doing anything like that, I can just like eat whatever I want, right? And then I tend to be grumpier with my family. I usually am a little more irritated. I wouldn't say I usually am. I can like tell that I'm always more irritated. And then I start to feel bad about myself because I am tired, right? So my brain is foggy. My body hasn't moved. I've been eating too much junk food. I didn't treat people that I love kindly. And then I start to critique myself. Then I start to compare myself. So it is all this total ripple effect for me. And I think, I don't know, I'm curious if you guys agree or have experienced that before. So I think it's so connected. So having good sleep habits is absolutely critical. And no matter what you do with essential oils and supplements and all of these other things, if you struggle in this area, you're going to probably struggle in a lot of areas. So one of the big things is sticking to a schedule, trying to wake up and go to bed at the same time every day. I know you've heard that before. We've been hearing that for a few years at least now, but it is absolutely true that we do have a circadian rhythm naturally in our body. There are many different types of rhythms. There's a moon rhythm, there's an ocean rhythm. There are so many rhythms here, and we need to tend to them and be aware of them as humans walking on this planet. So if you're a late night person, some of you might be, some of you may be an early morning person. Just do your best to keep that going, whether it's during the week or during the weekend, and keeping that schedule. So eating healthy is huge. We talked about this in the nutrition class. If you eat a diet that is full of processed food, if you're eating a ton of sugar late in the evenings, and I will admit I am guilty of that sometimes right now during quarantine, more than I even want to admit, I'll be completely honest, then your body is going to have a really hard time winding down. If your body is working really hard to digest and process that food while you're sleeping, you're not getting good sleep. That's very tied in and connected as well. So our body at night is, the job is that the desire is that it goes into a state of rest and relaxation, right? But if it's working on digesting all the sugar and the chemicals and all the junk food that you put into it before bed, you're just not going to be able to sleep as soundly. So another thing is limiting screen time. This is like brutal. I go to bed. Does anybody else go to bed with their phone in their hand or next to them? Does anybody, okay, yeah, I see some hands. Does anybody leave their phone outside of the room? I've heard a few people talking. Okay, Renee is saying yes. That is impressive. Michelle saying yes. That is really impressive. I cannot do that. But I do try to, keep I don't watch a lot of shows or TV shows or anything, but I like to watch the news or read the news, specifically reading the news at night on my phone before I go to bed. This is an area that is real important, and it's gotten even harder. So if you are someone that needs to have your phone, at least change the setting on your phone so that it changes from white screen to black screen at night, or turns off that blue light on your screen. So you can actually turn on in your settings like a yellowy orange light that will flip on, so it's not too hard on your eyes, which is going to be hard on your brain. And then all of the chemical responses in your body are connected to those, it's just, again, hormones, neurotransmitters, all of this is happening behind the scenes. We're not necessarily feeling right away, but it does have effects that will add up over time. So stick to your schedule, eat healthier, move your body in some way. Moving your body, if you're struggling with sleep, is a big one. Exercising can improve how well and how long you sleep. There is scientific data showing this. For some people, it's going to be harder to sleep at night if you exercise late in the evening. And so it is really suggested by nutritionists, health coaches, naturopaths to get your exercise in the first half of the day if you possibly can. Don't skip it, do something, move your body in some way, but try to get it in during the first half of the day. So these are just some habits that you can kind of try to work on if sleep is an area. And then we've got a couple products that we want to suggest as well.
Okay, so we are going to talk about the Serenity capsules, which I just mentioned very briefly. And I feel like, Emily, doesn't your daughter love these? Yeah. Does she use them just for sleep, or does she use them like throughout the day?
She's one of those kids that her brain starts going at night and it just doesn't slow down and doesn't shut off. So on nights when it's particularly bad, she definitely loves her Serenity at night. Yeah, it's a big
Awesome.
help to her.
Awesome. Okay, so the Serenity capsules is also one of my favorites. I tend to not use it at night, but I use it during the day if I'm feeling the same way Emily's daughter is feeling. And it has L-Theanine, which is an amino acid that helps to balance the hormones in our brain. It helps us to feel more relaxed. It helps us go to sleep. And it just helps us not to feel so stressed. As far as sleep goes, it helps you to fall asleep, and it's also going to help you sleep better. So if you have kids or even yourself, if you are overstimulated more easily in the evening, and there's a lot of stuff going on and there's a lot of stress, or you just have like a lot of stuff to process, which I feel like we're all processing so much right now. A lot of times we find ourselves laying in bed at night. Did I do this? Did I not do this? What do I still need to do? Am I doing enough? All of those things. You can take your Serenity capsules at night. And I want to say like 30 minutes before sleep, sometimes an hour before sleep. You really want to just try them out and see kind of how or what the timing is for you personally. And also you don't have to take them every night. So with some people, or with, I would say, more over the counter prescription medications, or even just over the counter things you can buy in the store, like Ambien and that sort of thing. Sometimes people feel like they need to be taking that every night, but you may find that the Serenity capsules may be a good option for every other night. So once again, it's just really reading your body to see what kind of support you need the most. They are really great at calming your nervous system. They help reduce stress. If you're struggling with stress throughout the day, like I mentioned, take a Serenity capsule during the day and see if that helps your nervous system calm down, and see if it can help you release some of that stress you're feeling. Additionally, you can take Adaptive in the morning. You could take Serenity in the afternoon, and then another Serenity at bedtime. So really just find your flow and what helps you the most. Yep, and like I mentioned, we did add a note in here that says to take at about 30 minutes before you go to sleep on the Serenity capsules. You can also take 2 or 3 a day for stress or anxiety.
Okay, awesome. So now there was a clinical trial done that on our Serenity Restful Complex. It was actually a 6-week double-blind placebo-controlled clinical trial that Doterra did. They, by the way, have done quite a few clinical trials. Many of them are published, and this is one of them. And it was done to investigate the efficacy of our soft gels. So the study actually concluded that individuals who used the Serenity soft gels had improvements in their ability to fall asleep and they woke up more easily and more alert, and feeling more refreshed. So sometimes you wake up feeling really groggy, right? And they actually reported that they woke up feeling more refreshed. And I will tell you, if you have tried these, you probably noticed the difference as well. So the situation that I have is that when I can usually go to bed pretty easily these days, but I'll wake up and my mind will just start kind of turning, right? And I'll start thinking of all the things. And when I take the Serenity Restful Complex, I don't have that. And even if I do wake up, then I can just get myself to sleep a little more easily. If you're traveling, obviously we can't right now, but this is a big one when you're traveling, if you're going to have jet lag, or if you're going to be out of your natural sleep state. This is a huge one. And by the way, I went to Europe. I got back like 2 weeks before social distancing quarantine started here in Portland. And I went with a group of people to Prague, and we all had, like the time change is a 9-hour time change to Europe. So we were using one Serenity, one Copaiba, which we'll talk about in a minute, and one Adaptive. And it was amazing to help us get back into that, the issue with jet lag that we had so severely in the beginning.
Okay, so I am going to ask Michelle V if she could unmute herself and tell us a little bit about her sleep routine with Serenity and Copaiba. And I'm sorry to put you on the spot, girl, but you just told me the other day that these are like your 2 favorites. So if you could just share something really quick about this, that'd be awesome.
Yes. Yeah, that's fine. Of course. I love to share. So I've never had any issues really with sleeping. I love to sleep. I'm actually a napper. And lately, I don't know if it's just this whole stress, what's going on. I can't fall asleep until like 3 in the morning. And then I will wake up like at around 5 or 6, and I feel like I can start doing all my house cleaning and just really active. And then it just like hits me, and I am like tired throughout the whole day. So it was really affecting me. And I was like, okay, I need to do something. I need to get back into schedule. So I started off slow. I started off with like lavender in my tea, and that worked, but I would still wake up. So with Serenity and Copaiba, I won't take them both together. I'll do one or the other, and because I just wanted to see which one works. To be honest, Serenity really works for me to be able to fall asleep. But Copaiba, just, I feel really restful. Like I'll be able to get up and I don't feel groggy. And I've been doing it for like at least 3 days, the three past nights, and it's worked every single night. So
Awesome.
that's great.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Michelle. Sorry, I
You're
just
welcome.
thought of you when we put this together. I was like, Michelle has something to share. She's on. And like Michelle said, what's really, really cool, you guys, is that, you know, sometimes if you are taking a sleeping medication that you received from your doctor or you just purchased at the grocery store, there are so many nasty side effects, especially if you don't like take it within like a certain number of hours. You may have to set your alarm to get up, and then you get up and you're groggy or you're nauseous. And what's really cool about these is that you will wake up refreshed. There's no side effects. There's no worry about addiction that it comes with some sleep medications. And so, yeah, these two are really, really great. As Michelle mentioned, together or by itself, you got to do a little experimenting, but Serenity calms the nervous system, promotes healthy relaxation and sleep. And then the Copaiba soft gels soothes anxious feelings, promotes homeostasis and rest. And one thing I love about the Copaiba and pairing it with something like the Serenity is that Copaiba is really great at enhancing other oils and products you use. So if the Serenity is working really well, but you're maybe lacking something like Michelle mentioned, like maybe you're waking up in the middle of the night, it's really great to add something like Copaiba because it's going to enhance all of those wonderful benefits of Serenity. So thank you, Michelle, for sharing.
Yeah, that was a great share. And you guys, anybody else, if you have a great share on some of these things, feel free to unmute yourself and let us know. We all know each other now, right? We're all family. Okay, so now here's another nightly regimen you could try if you have trouble sleeping. This is kind of an interesting, before I get there, I want to say the secret code word for tonight. The word is lavender. So jot that down real quick, and then we'll drop the form at the end of the class in the chat link. So here's another night regimen that you can try. If you like the Serenity soft gels, but you know, maybe they're not working for you now, or they did and then they aren't, and you've tried the adaptive, or you had adaptive and during the day and it made you feel a little bit groggy, then you can take adaptive and Copaiba. You can play around, right, is the point what we're saying here. But the interesting thing is that you can also add in, if you have the Yarrow Palm Beauty Complex, we talked about Yarrow Palm last week in our skincare class, and maybe you're saying like, Yarrow Palm Beauty Complex, what? Why would I take this for sleep, right? But these capsules are so good because they're not only helping with beauty from the inside out, as they're meant to do, but they're promoting good cellular health. So they have Melissa essential oil. Oh, sorry, I got a little background noise there. So we mentioned Melissa before and how good that is for our brain. So the Yarrow Palm also has Melissa in them, and it's great for emotional health as well. So the Yarrow Palm has yarrow essential oil and pomegranate, and they work together so well to help balance hormones and stress and anxiety in the body. So isn't that interesting how so many of these plants have, and you'll find this as you dig into plants more and more, or maybe herbal, you know, kind of research, that they have multiple side benefits instead of the side effects that Christy was talking about. So you can take your Yarrow Palm capsules. I would do these around dinner time, like at dinner, or, you know, like a snack time in the evening. And then you can take these, the adaptive and or the Copaiba, about 30 minutes for bed. And that could be another little nightly regimen you can try.
Okay, guys, so just a few more slides, and then we're gonna get to some questions, which I've been watching the questions in the chat. So we'll get to those in a minute if we haven't yet. Okay, so this is a big favorite for people. This is actually called an hibernation blend. Doesn't that sound nice? Especially if you're lacking a lot of sleep, right? Oh my gosh. Actually, I love to hibernate through COVID. Wait, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but like seriously, can we all just hibernate and wake up and this be all beyond us, right? Anyway, so hibernation blend, we have 4 different oils, and we're going to want to drop equal parts of frankincense, vetiver, bergamot, and Roman chamomile. And so frankincense is good for soothing and settling our mind, and it also is great for easing hyperactivity. And the next one is vetiver, and I've always loved vetiver from the day I opened my first bottle of vetiver, and the sourcing of vetiver, and just the whole beautiful process of how Doterra sources and brings vetiver into our home. It's a natural tranquilizer. Yes, you heard that right. Tranquilizer. So vetiver is really, really great for stopping that mind chatter that we experience, especially in the evenings when we're trying to fall asleep. And I'm pretty sure vetiver is in our Serenity blend, and that's also why the Serenity blend can be so effective, is because it has this fantastic oil in it. The next oil is the bergamot, and it calms agitation and stress, and it's a natural sedative. And then the last one is Roman chamomile, so calming and relaxing, soothes and clears the mind. So when you look at the power of all these oils, and then we bring them all together in one diffuser blend, we have a really, really powerful support system to help us through all of the moods we've talked about. So adding these into a diffuser, you could diffuse these at night when you go to bed. If you are in a place of like high stress or anxiety, as this slide suggests, you can make a roller bottle. You could apply it throughout the day. You could also diffuse it throughout the day. So any and all of those ways are fantastic ways to incorporate these oils together.
Yeah, that is a great blend. Oh, I love blends for sleep. And I kind of find a favorite one for a while, and then I change it up, and then I find a favorite one for a while. So I love, yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so you've hung in here this long. You guys recognize this screen. We're just going to go over it really quickly, and then we want to get to some Q&A. So if you guys are on this education call, then you know about the Loyalty Rewards program. You can bundle and save and add to and do all the things that we've talked about in your Loyalty Rewards order. We do have the ability to bundle the Adaptive as a collection, and you can always add this in, but just as an example of your monthly wellness box that you can order, these items are an example. So you could do the Adaptive collection, which is $82 even for all 3 of those, including the supplements. You can add wild orange. I also love Adaptive and wild orange. I mentioned Adaptive and citrus bliss earlier. That combination is great. And then Adaptive and fennel, we know, is a great combination as well. And then adding in some Copaiba soft gels as well. And if you were to bundle this, this would be about $145 and 131 PV. So you would also get the free oil of the month, which this month is Fennel. So if you place your order by the 15th of the month and you order somewhere in this range, as long as it's above 125 PV, you'll automatically get the free Fennel. And by the way, any big fans of Fennel? I am a huge fan of Fennel. If you have kids, it's really yummy in water for them. It tastes like black licorice, and it's good in water for adults too. I love it very much. It's tasty because it's really sweet. So it's like a sweet sparkling water drink. It's also really soothing for digestive upset. So if you have any tummy issues or kids with tummy issues, Fennel is a great one for them. So it's a fun one to get for free. And so make sure you're jumping into your account and looking at how you can bundle and save, and then getting your LRP submitted by the 15th of the month at 125 PV to get the free Fennel. So these are all going to be available to you for helping you support your mental health, your stress, your sleep, and really just helping support all of the emotional needs that you may have. So I hope this was a helpful class for you. Next week, we're diving into one of my personal favorite topics. I know I say that every week, I think. Sorry, you guys. I'm just a dork, but I love them all. And women's health and hormones is going to be a really important topic. I would say in the last 6 years where I've been really focusing on health and wellness. And before that, I was a fitness instructor. So I've been in this world for a long time now. Women's health and balancing hormones and hormonal upheaval is one of the things I hear most. And not just from older women, but from women in their 30s and 40s, and now, sadly, even more in their teens and 20s. There's so much hormonal disruption, and it's not a good thing. So we've got a lot of great information to add and to bring to you next week. And by the way, yeah, okay, perfect. So I want to open it up to questions. And you guys, we also are happy to answer questions about the business side of doTERRA. If you have them, you can stick around. We're going to answer some questions that we've received about building a business and what that's like and what it, what it can mean for your family. Because the beautiful thing is that many of us quickly move from just using and loving the oils to like, oh, wow, I can create an additional income out of this, or a supplemental income, or even a replacement income. And right now, the reality is, with the world as it is, oh my gosh, businesses closing left and right. I just talked to somebody on the call earlier today whose company closed. I drove past Pier 1 Imports, they're closing. Shops are closing left and right. And so if there's a better time than now to have income coming in from another way, I just don't know if there is. So I want to stop the share for a moment and actually, no, I'm just going to leave the share. But let's get to any questions that might have come up that didn't get answered, or if you have any questions, happy to answer them right now.
There were a few questions in the chat, which we can go through if that works.
Yeah.
Okay. So somebody asked for clarification if there is the GABA in the capsules, but not in the oil of the adaptive blend. Is that correct, Emily?
Yeah, that is correct. Yeah.
So in the capsules, but not the oil. So if you're looking for that specific benefit, you're going to want to try the capsules, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Let's see here. And then someone would just like to know like the very specific details of the ingredients in the adaptive. And so there's a couple ways of doing that. You can reach out to the person that enrolled you to see if they can help you with that. Another way to get around that more quickly is to call doTERRA directly and ask for that information, and they'll be able to find it for you. You can also search for it, but I can also look up that information.
Well, I've got it right here.
Oh, you got it there. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Okay, so in the blend, there is, well, let me read the oils in the blend. Okay, it's wild orange, lavender, copaiba, spearmint, magnolia, rosemary, and neroli are in the blend, the oil blend. And then in the supplements, there is lavender, coriander, wild orange, and fennel. So they will often, in the supplements, by the way, you guys, they'll add some sort of like a tummy tamer oil or blend. Even in the LLV, they've added the tummy tamer blend because so many people have digestive issues. And so taking supplements can be hard on them. So doTERRA takes that into account when they create their supplements, and they will add something that's going to be already soothing on the digestive tract so that it shouldn't be upsetting to you, right? I mean, it might be to some people, right? I wouldn't say that across the board to anyone. I will always say that we're bio individuals, but it should help tame any tummy disruption that comes from taking supplements. If you're someone that's like, no, I don't take any supplements, you actually can try theirs. Okay, so there's ahi flower, and I believe they get that in Africa. The ahi flower comes from Africa. The GABA, which is the gamma aminobutyric acid, and scleridium root, which is a hard one to say, scleridium, and that is also part of the GABA piece that's going to help work in your in your brain, basically. Work on neuroexcitability. So those are the ingredients of that.
Okay, perfect. And then Emily, can the actual amount of GABA, is that measured on that bottle, or would that be more specific question to doTERRA?
Well, they have, there it's listed as 100 milligrams of GABA.
Okay, perfect.
170 milligrams of ahi flower, and that is, I'm pretty sure, also related to the GABA, but whoever's asking, if they want to message us individually, then we can do some research, or you can certainly contact doTERRA.
Okay, perfect.
And then there's 15 milligrams of scledium root.
All right, awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Emily. Okay, and then someone asked, they wrote, I've heard that diffusing can cause oil residue on things like ceiling fans and lights. Then when you clean, it can mark your, I want to say there's a little bit of a typo, but I think it says when you clean, it can mark your flooring. Have you had that experience? And I have never had that experience, but I'm going to say this. If you have, well, like all of my furniture in my home is like wood, like legit wood. It's not painted with anything. It's not like painted with a white toxic paint or anything like that. And so for me, I've had no issues, but like if you have a dresser that might be painted white and you like leave a bottle of On Guard sitting on your dresser and it drips all over and you leave it there for days, that will sometimes remove the paint. I don't know if you've had that happen, Emily, but like that happened to me once. But like as far as like all of my wood tables and my wood floors and my countertops, I've never ever had an issue with any sort of staining or streaking or anything else.
I wonder if it's not exactly the act of diffusing,
right?
If it's more of like, if you're dripping an oil into a diffuser and you get a drip on some sort of like a paint or maybe a synthetic covering, like a plastic covering or something, it could disrupt that. So going back to the nutrition and supplements class, we talked about how the citrus oils, they actually break down petrochemicals. And I know we talked about this in that class, if you remember, if you drop them on plastic or in a plastic cup, or if you take a styrofoam cup, this is an interesting, I've done this, I have personal experience with this. If you take a styrofoam cup and you turn it over and you put a couple drops, like it's kind of fun to experiment with 4 different oils, and maybe you put a couple drops of lemon on one, on the bottom of the cap so you can see it, maybe wild orange, maybe a peppermint, maybe a rosemary or whatever. You can see the rate at which they will actually break through that, the synthetic, the petrochemicals, those are plastics, right? And the lemon and like the citrusy ones are gonna go quick. They'll go within seconds. So the good thing about this is that that's what it's doing to our insides. It's not actually doing that to our liver, for example, or our gallbladder. It's actually just breaking down the petrochemicals that sit on the outside of those organs, which is what gathers there, and then it starts clogging up all those cells. And we'll talk about that next week with women's health and hormones as well, and how these different toxins come into our body from our environment and the foods we eat, and then they clog up our cells. So then our cells actually can't send the hormone messaging, kind of relay the messages to the different parts in our body that it's supposed to. It's like cause and effect, right? I don't know if you guys are you guys following me with this? So what I'm guessing is that the question about the diffuser is not about the spray of the diffuser, I would just guess, because I've never heard that come up ever, and I've been diffusing for, gosh, almost a decade. I think it's probably more related to, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm guessing it's more related to getting drops on maybe something that's painted, it's got some sort of a synthetic covering, and that could eat away that paint. Have I ever heard of it happening to the floor? No. The fans? No. But it could be possible. That's my long answer.
No, yeah. Well, and my other thought too is that if you're not using a doTERRA oil, you very well could be experiencing these things, right? like the residue and having it be harmful to the floor and the table where the diffuser might be sitting. But yeah, that's my only other suggestion.
Yeah, by its nature, a diffuser is going to basically, it's a water reservoir. There's only a couple drops of essential oil in it, and it takes that, and it's not even a heating element, right? But it's like a dispersing element that will waft it up, and then it disperses all those drops or droplets, I guess, so that you can't even really see it unless you're looking. Like I have one on my desk. If I look really close at it, I can see it, but it's not going to be anything that is going to harm your furniture or your fans or anything. I would love to hear if someone had an experience with that, though. Please share.
And then the last question is there a place you can see all the clinical trials that Doterra has done? Like, is there one home for that, or is it all over the science blog?
I would go to, Aromatic Science would be a place I would go. I do know that they're getting ready to release a lot of their clinical trials, and I think that they had plans to release that this year at convention, which is in September. It's now all live and online, and by the way, everybody can go to that. It's a very, very fascinating deep dive into the company and the products, all the new releases. They'll release new products as well. And I think that they were getting ready to release more information about their clinical trials, but I don't know offhand if there's like one hub for all of it right now.
All right, sounds good. And those were the only questions I saw in the chat, unless somebody else has any other questions they'd like to ask, if that brought up anything. And I just want to say that I did, if you look in the chat, I did put in the attendance form a little while ago, so you should be able to scroll up and find that there.
Okay, great. Okay, well, let's move on to the joy of sharing oils. So we just want to talk for a hot second about this, and you're welcome to stay on here, or you can hop off if you're not interested in this portion. But like we said earlier, we know that it's really natural and normal to start digging into all this information and start, thinking about people that you want to share with and talk to about the oils and what the heck, like, how does Emily and Christy even have a business out of this? What does this mean? So we want to answer some of those questions that come up or that have come up. And so why Doterra and why now? So I think a lot of people, as I said earlier, are looking for a little bit of an extra income at the moment. So honestly, the potential need for more, another stream of income has never been greater. And Doterra is in a thriving economy, is thriving in an economy that is not thriving right now. That's the reality, which we also talked about. But for those of us who are oilers, we feel very confident in so many different ways, financially and economically right now, also with our health and our ability to take care of our needs at home. We don't need to seek out a doctor. We don't need to be reliant on anybody else. We can really address so many of our own needs at home. So that is a big piece to why is this a good time? It's always a good time, because it not only empowers you financially, but it also empowers you health-wise as well, healthfully as well. So when I started Doterra just about 8 years ago, started learning about the oils, I had been using natural products for a while. I had been using naturopathic medicine and homeopathic medicine, and a friend introduced me to the oils, and I was interested in using the little bottles, but I didn't really think of them as medicine quite yet. And it took a little while for us to really start. It took a little while for me to feel really confident in understanding how to use them, how to bring them into my home, how to use them on their kids. But as soon as I did reach that level of confidence, which is what we're hopefully bringing to you guys right now, through this education, which I didn't have when I was getting started with oils so many years ago. But as soon as we did, we started noticing shifts in our family's health. in our ability to use these tools to really immediately and just immediately have an impact on what was going on, whether it was mosquito bites, which we are having a lot of right now, or bug repellent, which we have in the form of oils, and I just have been forgetting to use apparently, because we're getting all these mosquito bites that we're like, oh, get lavender for, right? Get peppermint for, get purify for. You've got options here. We don't need all of the toxic solutions that are on the market today. So before we knew it, a couple years into using the oils, I realized my family needed another income. And I realized it was either going back to work or dipping my toe into doTERRA to see, gosh, what could I create? Could I do what a couple of friends of mine had done and create a sustainable and lasting income that can help contribute to my family? And I'm a big believer, you guys, and women having money in their own hands. That is how we will deeply create change in our planet and in our world. It's when the women are empowered. And so this is a huge piece of it to me. So we're in the middle of a pandemic in chaos right now, where many companies are closing their doors forever. It's like heartbreaking to see, but doTERRA is actually growing right now. How crazy is that people are craving to jump back into the driver's seat of their health, and that they want and they're ready to take control of their health right now. And we have the tools that they need. So people are recognizing this need to take greater ownership of their health, their nutrition, their wellness, and we can offer that to them. Christy, do you want to take the next slide? Oh, she's frozen. Christy's frozen, so I'm just going to keep going. So if you're like, I'm interested in doing the doTERRA, the business of doTERRA, then maybe ask yourself these things. How do I make money? Or you might be asking yourself these things. How do I make money? How much time is involved? Could this work for me? And then what is the next step? So the biggest thing I do to make money, because a lot of people are like, I don't really know. I don't really know what you do. Like, how do you make money? Like, I see these people out there doing it and saying that they're making money, but what do you guys actually do? So there's actually a really simple formula. And this is it. You sample people. You teach them how to use their samples. That there is like the two key pieces. And you show them how to get their own account, and you enroll them as a wholesale customer. We all want the wholesale prices, right? Why pay retail? Do not do that anywhere ever with doTERRA. And then you support them in their oil journey. And that's it. That's the formula right there. That's all you do. So if you can do this consistently with doTERRA, you will make money. And here is actually an image of the income potential that you can create. So you can see that it can start with just a couple $100s a month and go on up significantly from there. So if your question is, how much money can I make? Is it even possible? It really is. So you'll see that there are different ranks in doTERRA, starting at elite, the rank of elite, and going on up through presidential diamond. And a great kind of one to take a look at is the rank of silver. That's making an income of about $2,300 a month. And if $2,300 a month would change your life, then reach out and let's talk. We have regular trainings going on all the time. We have a regular, we have a community, a thriving community, amazing people. Some of my favorite people in the world are part of this community, and all are welcome. And so last but not least, how much time is involved? So you might want to just work a couple hours a week, 3 to 5 hours a week. And that is certainly possible to get your own oils paid for. If you want to more supplement your income, you might want to work a little bit more than that, 5 to 15 hours a week. And if you fully want to replace your income, this is doing rainmaking activities, income producing activities, 15 to 30 hours a week. And it does require getting out of your comfort zone, being persistent, being consistent in your messaging and who you're talking to and how you're talking to them. But honestly, it's a lot of fun. It is so much fun. There's so much potential and room for growth and personal development, and you will never look back. It will change your life. It will change the trajectory of your life, no doubt. So anyway, that's kind of all I wanted to cover tonight. And I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording and then answer any questions that might have come up. And let's see, let me figure out how to stop the share. Stop the recording.